What's up guys, Zachary Newton here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Jekyll Variables. Now, there are a lot of different Jekyll Variables, and I'm not going to be talking about all of them, but I'm going to be talking about most of them, and mainly the ones that I use all of the time. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into the code for my personal website that we built before and show you what the Jekyll variables are and where they are and how I'm using them. So let's go ahead and jump into this project. Alright, so I have my personal website open here, zacharynewton.com. This is the website that I built in the tutorial. I think it was the first tutorial series on this channel actually. But I'm going to be using this to show you what some of the Jekyll variables are. So to get started, we have our global variables, which are our site variables, page variables, then we have layout, content, and a paginator. So the four I'm going to mention right now and show you are the site, page, layout, and content variables. I might make a very specific video on the paginator at some point in the future, but we're going to skip this little variable for right now. It's not really little, but we're going to skip this variable for right now. So to start in our site variables, how do you add site variables? Well, all of your site variables are in your config.yaml file. So this is how we add our site variables, and it's all written in YAML. So you can access these anywhere you want on your website in Jekyll, and it shows you how to do it right above here. So all you have to do is type curly brace, site dot, and then whatever you named your variable here. What you see in red, I'm using Adam right now, by the way. So everything you see in red right here is a variable name. And you can access that via, if I wanted to access this title, I could say site.title inside of those curly braces. So that is how you access your site variables, and those are global. You can access them from anywhere. So the next thing is our page variables. And how do we add page variables? Well, I'll show you, and to show you, I'm going to open up one of my posts that I've written before, and we'll see some of this up here. So if you look at this, it looks very similar to what we saw in the config.yaml file. If I open this back up again, here we have all of our page variables in our front matter. So this is also written in YAML, and this has the same exact layout. So if I see, we have layout here with a colon and then post, and it's the same syntax that we have over here, where we have like title colon and then the actual value. So if we come back over here to the page, how do we access these page variables? Well, we access these page variables in a very similar fashion to how we access our site variables. We type curly brace, but instead of site, we type page. So if I wanted to access this categories right here and put it, I don't know, somewhere here, I would simply write curly brace, page dot categories, and then the two closing curly braces, and that would put whatever that variable's value is, it would put it in right there. So that is how you access your page variables, and there are plenty of different kinds of page variables that already exist that you can use. For instance, one that you could do is page.date, and that will display the date assigned to that page. And there's page.next, and it will go to the next post that is relative to the position that you're currently at on this website. So and then you can also do that with page.previous as well. It'll go just in the reverse direction. Alright, so the next two things that I want to show you real quick are your layout and your content variables. I'll start with content because it's very simple. So if I come over here to, let's go to the index page here, you'll see I am using layout default. Okay, so now that we know that that's the layout we're using here, if I open up our layouts and go to the default layout, you'll see that I have this content section right here. So it's curly brace, content, and then two closing curly braces, and that's all you have to put to use this variable. And what that does is it puts whatever page is referencing this layout, it will put that page's content in this content section. So that's pretty simple to wrap your mind around. with that being said, I'm going to move on to layouts, and I'll show you what that is and what that looks like really quick. So basically, when you build a layout here, it's simply an HTML or a markdown file. It can be either of the two. And then you're going to want to make sure that you input this content section so that the content on the page you're using to reference this layout actually gets put in here. On those pages, all you have to do to use the layouts variable is up in your YAML front matter, you're going to type in layout and then colon and then default, or whatever the name of your layout is. So for my posts, I have a post layout, and this post layout references the default layout, and inside of this post layout I'm pulling in the content from whatever page is referencing this layout, and I'm putting it right here. So that is how you use that. And then we also do have includes, and I believe they are variables. So I have, let's see here, I have my navigation set up as an include. So it's very similar to using layouts, but instead of calling the layout in your YAML front matter, this is where we use liquid code here to call an include instead of YAML front matter to call a layout. So the syntax is curly brace %, include, and then a space, and then whatever the name of the file is. So you'll see right here in my navigation.html that I am including this logo.html. And if I open that logo.html, you'll see a simple SVG, and this is the SVG for the logo named appropriately. And to show you where I'm including this nav.html, if I go to my index page, you'll see right here in the header I am including my nav.html. So those are the main types of variables that most people use, and that I use personally almost all of the time. So we have our site variables, page variables, layout, includes, and content. So there's a total of 5, and I think I may make a video on the paginator exclusively sometime in the near future if that's something that you guys need to know more about, because I feel like that will be a much more in-depth conversation than this one right here. So let me know if that is something you would like to see. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. If it helped you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you like the content that I'm creating on this channel, head on over to my Patreon account at patreon.com/ZacharyRNewton, where you can help support this channel and help me create better videos every week. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.